Especially in contemporary times, certainly the Hizmet movement gives people the correct, the true version of Islam. Less privileged, so on and so forth. Other people just like us, whether they like it or not, because my name is Jibril Dahiru Amin. I'm a veterinarian by profession. After my national service, I worked at the University of Maiduguri in the northeastern part of Nigeria up till 1998 when I became a professor of veterinary medicine. And in the year 2003, I was appointed as the Vice Chancellor of the university. I have since completed the tenure in 2008. I also worked as the Secretary General of the Committee of Vice Chancellors, and in the year 2011, the federal government appointed me as the pioneer Vice Chancellor of the newly established Federal University, which is where I'm working now. My first encounter with the Hizmet movement was back in 2009, when I was working as a visiting professor at the National Universities Commission. While I was there, it was my duty to process applications for those organizations wishing to establish private universities. And at that time, the Nigerian Turkish Nile University was being conceived, and they submitted their application to my committee, and we had a lot of interaction going back and forth, and we guided them, and eventually they met all the requirements, and the federal government of Nigeria approved the establishment of the university. So that was my first encounter with the members of the Hizmet movement. The Hizmet movement is made up of individuals that are very committed to the cause of the movement, to the cause of Islam. They are very diligent persons, very sociable, very friendly, and in many ways very helpful to the community where they live. They are certainly one of the best sort of people you can live with and interact with, and this is my opinion of the members of the Hizmet movement. Mr. Gulen is a remarkable gentleman, he's a visionary gentleman. For him to have conceived the idea of establishing schools in many parts of the world, and to make education, in addition to other social aspects of life, as the central part of the Hizmet movement, makes him one of the most influential persons living today. As far as I'm concerned, education is one of the most important factors of human development, of national development, and education empowers the individual, it enlightens, it civilizes, and it has many advantages. And for him to have, as a religious leader, to have chosen the education of young men and even other people, young men and women, must be one of the best ideas he came up with. And I think that he will live and be remembered as a very, very influential, very helpful, very good teacher, and a great leader, in short. Yes, I had the opportunity of meeting Mr. Gulen back in March in his place of living in Pennsylvania in the USA. I went with the Vice Chancellor of the Nigerian Turkish Nile University, And it was a big privilege for me to meet him, a very humble man, a very influential person. And if you meet him, you will hardly believe that this is the gentleman that has influenced so many people to do good to humanity in many parts of the world. He is indeed a remarkable man. As far as I'm concerned, education is the best tool for human development, and the fact that, at least in my own interaction with the people of the Hizmet movement, it's mainly on the educational side. They have schools, and now in Nigeria they have this university. Certainly, it must be the best way to approach human development, because as a human being, the brain, when we say as Muslims that human beings are the best creation of God, it's really nothing but the brain of the human being, because there are many animals that are much faster than human beings, much bigger, can smell better and all this, but they do not have the architecture of the human brain. And it is really the education that nurtures this, the brain of human beings and makes them develop into empowered individuals, into useful civil members of the society. And for the Hizmet movement to have made this as an important cardinal contribution to humanity must be a very, very great thing on their part. The Hizmet movement, for them to have established so many schools in so many parts of the world, to me, their achievement is unrivaled. They have certainly touched the lives of people in so many countries of the world, and these people, this generation that they are bringing up will turn up to help humanity, to in a way be the Hizmet generation. I don't know what else to call them, that they will copy these good values that the Hizmet movement portrays, and this is the greatest contribution they have made, and I'm not sure there are other organizations that can rival such an achievement. Oh, certainly, especially in contemporary times, certainly the Hizmet movement gives people the correct, the true version of Islam, and rather than what we see in countries like Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, and even here in Nigeria, where we have the Boko Haram. The Hizmet movement is the direct opposite of it, and they are the people who actually represent Islam: selfless service, love for your common, the other person, and really peace and helping of the less privileged particularly, and so on and so forth. And above all, their own role in education. They present the correct and the true and the best part of the face of Islam, and they're a good counter to what is happening, as I've said, in many parts of the world, and where Muslims are really not doing the correct thing. That is another aspect of the good thing with the Hizmet movement. They are not afraid of talking to people from other backgrounds, other religions, and because all of humanity have some common values that we should all be able to maintain, to sustain, to be able to propagate. And I find there are, particularly in Nigeria, most other Muslims will say these are maybe Christians or atheists or some other things, and they have very little interaction with them. And this brings a lot of conflict, and you find that there are a lot of conflicts that are religious based in Nigeria, and this is very unfortunate. The Hizmet approach to interacting with people of other faiths and other backgrounds is again an exemplary thing for other Muslims especially to follow, and to see to it that people understand us properly, and With that, you will see that other people will just like us, whether they like it or not. Because really, if you show people that you are good and you are helpful and you stand for that, so there's no reason why people will not like you. I visited Kimse Yokmudi while I was in Turkey, and I was very impressed. Turkey, of course, is prone to natural disasters like earthquake and so on, and it has inspired people to be quite helpful in periods of national disaster. They have brought this culture, this practice here in Nigeria, and I've seen in situations where they have helped people medically. They have had many cases of cataract surgeries and so on, and it has been quite helpful. It is complementing their own efforts in the education sector and making the movement a more holistic approach, giving them a more holistic approach to helping of humanity, and I think is very, very commendable. It can't be too good to be true, because they are inspired by Islam, and Islam is a good religion. It has many aspects of it. It's not just the praying and fasting and so on. It has aspects that has to do with dealing, muamala, and to help other people to live in the society. So the members of the Hizmet movement are inspired to lead their life based on Islamic values, Islamic principles. And that is why people won't understand. You give selfless service to humanity, to be able to help humanity, and you don't necessarily expect an immediate reward. You can get your reward in the life hereafter. So people are used to more simple transactions. You give me, I give you, and that doesn't always help people who have very little to give. And of course, everybody has something to give, but some people have little to give, and the more endowed, the better endowed persons in the community must help. And if you help without expecting any return in terms of feedback from the person you are helping, some people may not understand it. They may think that it's too good to be true. It's not too good to be true. It's based on Islamic fundamental principles, and again, it's one of the things that has made the Hizmet movement a very unique movement. I've been to Turkey on my first trip. I visited universities that are affiliated with the Hizmet movement. I've also visited, as I said, Kimse Yokmur, and I've visited some group of journalists. I've visited several other locations, and above all, I have had interactions with members of the Hizmet movement, people who I've been introduced to, and I've had dinner with them, and you stay and talk to them, and you know that these are people who have almost sacrificed everything to help humanity. They may be very, very wealthy people, or people who are well qualified, but they're not looking for a job where they can get maximum reward. They're looking for a job where they can help humanity most. And it's been a wonderful experience visiting Turkey. There are always people who are after naked power, who are more interested in what they can gain immediately, who are not sincere in their dealings with humanity, and such people will obviously envy the extensive influence of the Hizmet movement on humanity in general. For people from Turkey to be known in 160 countries of the world, it's no mean achievement at all. And every maybe politician, bad politician, may feel threatened by such organizations. But I don't see why, I don't see any country, I don't know about Turkey. I'm sure even if government wants to close down the institution, they will have a hell lot of time, and certainly the opposition will be too much for them to bear, and with the influence of the Hizmet movement, with what people see the good things they are doing throughout the world. I mean, what reason would they tell us to in Nigeria that they want to close all these schools that have been established by the Hizmet movement in Nigeria? What reason? I don't think that they will succeed. They're on a perilous journey, and they will, at the end of the day, see the futility of their own approach to life, and we hope that God will reconcile them and they become better people.
My exposure to a variety of people in the United States and also in Turkey who are involved in Hizmet has continued to impress me with the uniformity of their commitment to some central core principles.
Fethullah Gulen has been very powerful in encouraging and inspiring people to come together and talk about their differences, embrace each other's differences even, while at the same time feeling strong in their own beliefs and their own traditions.